Welcome to Impact Show. Sinan Kanatzis here, the host of this epic show. We've had over 1 million unique views of our content. We're in our 24th episode here from blazing hot Riverside, California at a spectacular venue called the Mission Inn, owned by a friend of mine, Dwayne and Kelly Roberts. Dwayne made a crazy fortune off a frozen burrito. I mean, I've ate plenty. Had no idea that you could create such an amazing business out of a frozen burrito. But that's just an example of what Impact's all about. You create impact on any industry you're in. And I'm very honored today to be with a very good friend and a longtime supporter of the IMA, Jeanniey Walden, who is the CIMO of DailyPay and a long-term friend of mine. Jeanniey, you and I have literally done interviews around the world, and now we're here in Riverside. So you came from New York here today to join me and about 20 other very respected business leaders in the country to get congressional recognition. Tell me a little bit about your trip from New York and what brought you here, and a little bit about today.
Well, this was a super special trip because it was the first post-COVID business trip officially on the books. And
Awesome.
I have to say, felt so good to get back in the air, back on the road, back in all the LA traffic.
Yes,
the way as I drove around and did the rounds, meeting clients for the first time, and certainly coming here and meeting the congressman.
It feels good,
so
doesn't
amazing.
it? Yeah,
and of
awesome.
course to see you in real life.
Yes, and Jeanniey was on our stage at Impact in 2011. It was Hope Frank that brought you, and I know Hope from a generation before in my career. And you came out in this spectacular gala dress, and everyone was dressed sort of like business casual. There's a lot of hipsters in the tech industry, and you guys came out. Tell me a little bit about going on stage in a gown to differentiate yourself and the thought behind that.
Well, look, first of all, if you're going to do it right. Always, all the time, absolutely, without a doubt. But you know, we were just coming from a client event at the Emmys.
Okay.
And we were at the Emmys the day before for my absolute most embarrassing moment on Good Day LA, when I was accused of stalking Kevin Bacon. But that's a different story for maybe another show.
Okay.
And we had these great gowns, and we thought, what better thing to do than to wear them to your event and really show that it's who you are inside that powers how amazing you are on the outside.
Absolutely.
And you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself.
And you've had a storied career since those moments. I mean, that's when back the Zinio days. And tell us a little bit about your career and the travel path through New York City and some of the great brands that you've represented.
Okay, well, I started out with a master's in teaching. As you know, I wanted to teach kindergartners, could not find a job. Learned when I got my first job at JCPenney in the customer service division that you make a lot more money in business. And if you're leading a team or a group of people, you can use all those skills from your teaching career to get people to be inspired and to do what you want. And if you put that together with a business mindset, it is truly an unlimited path and potential from a growth career. And so I stayed 7 years at JCPenney. I worked in the operations team. I was at the corporate level. I spent a lot of time with the board and the CEOs of the divisions. And then I got pulled into one of the first 3 companies that started working on email marketing when it was inbound, before there was even outbound email marketing. And everyone thought I was crazy, got sucked up by an ad agency, Gray Direct, and ran the first ever email marketing division of an ad agency. Did that globally, loved what I was doing, worked on a ton of M&A deals. It was right before the bubble burst. And then moved on to startup. And since then, I've been startup, big company, advertising agencies. I've had 5 of my own companies. Some of them I've sold, some of them didn't go so well, lots of learnings in all of them. Went to Mercer as the Global Chief Marketing Officer, and today here I am as the Chief Innovation and Marketing Officer at DailyPay. And I am telling you, if you're looking for a job that has social impact, when you can give people access to their money as they earn it, you're changing the world.
I love that narrative right there. So going back to your master's degree and just the principles that you learned, and how do you empower people? And you could start with children and adults, and it's kind of the same thing. And you're the impresario of people, and if you empower them, you're going to get a great work product no matter what you're in. I'm fascinated though that you were like in the very beginning days of email marketing, right? And as a medium, right? I mean, we're both in the marketing industry. There's a plethora of mediums now: television, print, radio, blog, social, all these things. but email is still a medium that people read, and if you do it right, it'll create good engagement and conversion. Why has email, in your opinion, lasted so long, and what are some of the things that you advise? We have thousands of viewers in the IMA and business owners on how to do successful email marketing.
All right, so that's what you need to know. Email is the backbone of all digital communications.
Right.
I said it 10 years ago when I wrote our book on it, I talked about it, but think about it. You cannot have digital access to anything today without registering your email address.
Correct.
So it is like your digital social security code. People will say, oh, I can sign up with my cell phone. That is true. But when you get your cell phone, what's the first thing you need to do? Register it to your email address.
Correct.
So it is the backbone of all digital communications. It's what people trust.
Right.
And even today, if you want some tips on email, I will tell you that the emails in your inbox have an average lifespan of 3 years for brand impact.
Wow.
So if you are 1-800-Flowers and you're sending all those emails, you may not get open rates today, but I guarantee you when it is your mother's birthday and you almost forgot, you're gonna go to your email box, you're gonna search up, I think I had a discount from 1-800-Flowers, you're gonna leverage that. So it is so important and critical to engage with people over email and to know that it has as much of a brand impact as it does for demand generation.
And why do so many people fall in the trap of going from like just emailing their database to becoming a spammer? What's that delineation in your mind that put people in that spamming category?
Because in the early days, so easy. When the ROI is better than any ROI that anyone on the planet in marketing had seen, and the cost was so minimal, people couldn't help it. You know, it was like a drug that you get addicted to. If I send out 10 emails, I make $100. If I send out 1,000, I could make $500. If I send out 10 million, I could I could retire at the end of the day. So, you know, it is addictive, and it's true. Even today, email still has the highest return on investment of any channel. And
we all know that the former president of the United States doesn't have social media anymore. But he still has email.
Because it's the backbone.
It's interesting, right? I mean, imagine being the internet service provider of that email account. I mean, it's massive. I'm thinking it's tens of millions of IDs. And they're pushing content out. So it's so true. It's the backbone of communications, and it's awesome. So that being said, Jeannie, like, what are your thoughts around how businesses that are watching this today can use some of the lessons that you've learned? Before I get into DailyPay, what advice do you have for businesses that are just starting up on how they can use digital marketing in ways to be successful?
Air. One word, air. Everything you do needs to be authentic. It needs to inspire your audience, and it needs to be relatable.
Awesome.
Long gone are the fake days where we stand here like this and fake the shots. I mean, today's world is very authentic. And that is how your message needs to be. That's what your plans need to be like. So if you're starting a business, the first thing to do is figure out who you are, what do you stand for, and how do you just share that message across in a personal way. And
I love the acronym AIR. I've never heard that before. Let's make sure to put that out there, because that's something that I think you should trademark and use that as a way to help people. I think it's fantastic. I like AIR. And think about ways that you can differentiate yourself. So the way that she just came out with AIR, think about an acronym you could come up with for yourself and what you do in your business, and then use that as a way to communicate with others when you're being interviewed. That being said, let's talk about the big news last week. So you've landed this incredible career with DailyPay. We're so proud of you at the IMA. And tell us a little bit about that journey and how you and Jason are building this incredible enterprise, and how you're literally changing the world of finance.
Yes, we're changing the world. We're changing the system. It's so exciting. Yeah, so about 5 years ago, Jason, the CEO and founder of DailyPay, tried to order a pizza, and he couldn't get this pizza online, and he couldn't understand why Domino's was not as part of a delivery service. And without going into all the details, his takeaway was, the supply chain for money is broken. The way that money moves through the financial system is a mess. And especially if you're an employee, there's all these invisible rules about money. Like, who is it that decided you have to wait a month to get paid, or 2 days to get paid? And who is it that decided that even if you've worked 10 days and maybe you've earned $5,000, that pay balance should not count towards your net worth? Why should it not help you buy a car or a house? So he set out really to create a new financial system that works for everybody. The banked, the unbanked, companies, merchants, retailers, financial institutions, and he started with pay. And so I joined him a few years into his mission as the first female C-level at DailyPay, which is exciting.
That's awesome.
So
That's
yay,
fantastic.
girl power. But I also joined because I felt very strongly about the mission that he was on and how we can collectively change pay for good.
Right.
So powerful that the bells are ringing.
I love it.
This is
it's
our
a
highlight.
sign.
It's a sign.
You start with Domino's Pizza, and then you get this. I mean, you couldn't plan this. This is fantastic. But so tell me about the resetting of pay. Who actually created the every 2 weeks, every month pay system? I mean, was that?
It came out of the war for taxation reasons.
Interesting.
Right? So back in the 1940s, after the war, the government was trying to manage the economy and get it back on its feet. And so they started to put some taxes into place. So in order for companies who used to pay daily, by the way, in order to accrue and account for those taxes, they had to put in a payroll system.
Are you permitted to talk about any companies that work with you right now, and how do they use it? So share maybe.
We work with companies across every industry, and we work with the most amazing enterprise organizations that you could think of. Everybody from Kroger to Tractor Supply, Six Flags, a lot of home healthcare organizations, Applebee's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, you name it.
So if I'm an employee at one of these enterprises, Six Flags, I can basically tell my management when to pay me?
No, you don't tell anybody. Well, you don't need to tell anybody. You just open up the DailyPay app, you see how much money you've earned, and then you can press a button and you can either take that money, put it into whatever banking account you have, a checking account, a savings account, a debit card, or you can put that money away in savings. It's really up to you. So it's really amazing. We've got like 4 types of users. My favorite type of user is the persona that makes more than enough money to pay their bills on time. That this is not a paycheck to paycheck situation, but they are positively changing their life. So they're taking out their money early to either pay down a bill so that they can improve their credit score to buy a house or a car, or they're taking out money early to accelerate training for a new field or capability. One of the employees at one of the companies sent us a letter and said, thanks to you, I have been trained as an MMA expert. So Alex, hope you're listening. And he is now inviting us to watch him rise up in his career. And he said, look, I finished it a year and a half earlier thanks to DailyPay. So it's really, truly life-changing in really positive ways, and it's just the beginning.
And I love the psychology that you're hitting on. So, now I can really tune up and see what I'm actually getting paid in the day versus just, that monthly paycheck or that, and I can put that on auto probably into my bank account, and it can motivate me to actually do more, to earn more, because I can actually see the fractional daily payment and how much that's going to impact and change my life. So you're not just an on-demand pay solution. I mean, you guys are really like redeveloping the whole financial system.
Exactly. We're creating a new financial system. We're erasing these invisible rules of money. But I mean, you hit it spot on. For the first time ever, hourly workers can see how much they've earned during the pay cycle and make really smart decisions based on their financial needs. Because my daughter worked at a gym, and sometimes she worked 30 hours, sometimes she worked 40, sometimes she worked 25. Ask her how much is going to be in her paycheck. She could generally tell you. She didn't know for sure. Now imagine if you're a working parent with a few kids and you're saving for a vacation or you need to get some medical expenses taken care of. When you can log in and see, oh, I've made $710 and it's 3 more days until my paycheck closes, you can make decisions like I'll pick up an extra shift or I don't need to work on Friday. I can take off and take my children to the museum. It's that balance, availability, and the transparency to see what your pay balance is huge. And the whole thing revolves around what is your pay balance.
And I love the name DailyPay because it really says what you do. And a couple episodes ago, we had Don DiCostanzo, the founder and CEO of Pedigo Bikes. And Pedigo is trying to be that synonymous brand ubiquity, similar to Dropbox and what they do, and DailyPay to what you do. And knowing that there's always a competitor in the marketplace, this catapults you. Picking the name is so important in your business. The Internet Marketing Association says what we do in a matter of 3 words, DailyPay. Think about that for your business and what you're trying to do. So tell us about this really big news that happened last week, because there were so many zeros that it actually fell off my script. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so last week we have been working so hard, and the industry has been taking notice. We were able to announce our Series D, where we closed $500 million. It is $500 million. Wow. in our latest financing round.
That's very high wattage, as my friend Rob Hutter would say.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about the dynamic and what this capital allows you to do for the unforeseen future.
Yeah, so absolutely, look, the on-demand pay space is growing by leaps and bounds. Every employer is looking to give this to their employees because why wouldn't they?
Right.
But it also has such a positive impact on the business.
Sure.
There's up to 72% increase in retention, which is amazing. So employees stay longer and they're much more engaged.
Right.
And right now, when people can't find enough workers for their business,
correct,
keeping the ones you have, super critical. We also know that people looking for jobs will be able to go to a company that is paid with DailyPay. They come in 53% faster than people that just have a regular job open and say we'll pay you in 2 to 3 weeks. So there's an impact right now. But once people come into the business, then they're engaged more, which means better customer relations, which means improvements all around for the employee and the employer. So some of the money is funding that and fueling our future in that area, because there's so many businesses out there that are looking to do this. But we are also looking at investing in new markets. And while I can't tell you what's coming up, I can tell you to keep an eye on what's happening with DailyPay, because where we're taking the business, we started with pay, but we are creating a new financial system for everyone. We are changing the way that money moves. Our focus is to put money in the right place at the right time. We're starting with pay.
Right on. That's so cool. And Jeannie, continued success to you, Jason, your incredible team at DailyPay. And you're kind of remind me of like the electricity that's going into cars, and the prediction by Ford that came out today in 2030, 40% of all their fleets will be electric. And it kind of seems like you guys are doing that same paradigm shift in finance. So you're kind of the electric for the finance industry. It's been on this analog gas system and who knows if it's not healthy, right? So you're doing good for the world, and we wish you continued success. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about the changes going on in the world and the business. Thank you for being a devout supporter of me, the IMA, our businesses, and the thousands of people that you've touched on all our stages around the world. That we've had a lot of great conversations and look forward to many more. Okay, so Jeannie, tell me a little bit about adversity. I mean, we have thousands of people watching the show right now that are from all sorts of background, gender, religion, race. A lot of us, as we go through business and taking risks in life, face adversity. Have you faced a little bit?
Just a little. Maybe a little.
Okay.
Maybe once.
Tell us about how you
a day.
how you get through that, because a lot of people will just throw in the towel and give up. But how do you get through that?
But why would you do that? Why not? Never throw in the towel. No. So what you need to know is, first of all, anything that seems bad is setting you up for a really good thing. You just don't know what it is.
Okay.
So you got to take the challenging element and figure out why it's happening and learn from it. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, if you think positively, positive things will happen.
Yes.
It's like this proven fact, and can understand that. But I would say the biggest thing, the biggest piece of advice I would give is never stop taking risks. Right. I read this statistic once that women over 30 take 65% less risks than they did 5 years before.
Oh, wow.
All of a sudden, as we grow up, we start to feel like we have more responsibilities and that we have to stay in a very stable and cautious environment. We don't think we can do something, we lose confidence, but you should always be bold and take risks, because when you have a good network and community around you, they will always be there to catch you. You know that. I know that. It always happens, and you usually fall up.
Absolutely. And thank you, Jeannie, for that great advice, and I couldn't agree with her more. When there's negative forces happening to you and you're facing a dark moment and you're in adversity, be patient and think about the message that's being sent. Because a lot of times when you're being punched in the face, it's just one of those things where there's some outcome that you're being prepared to be stronger for for the next time. And I could not agree with you anymore, Jeannie. You're absolutely dead on there. And I really want to just thank you again for being such a great resource to us. I mean, you're part of that win beneath our wings, and vice versa. And we look forward to getting the thousands of businesses affiliated with IMA introduced to DailyPay. And we're so thankful for you sharing it today. And have a great rest of your week. And enjoy sunny Southern California. It's always sunny here. Maybe we'll come to New York and see what snow's like once in a while, or cold weather.
No. It is 80 in New York right now. Just FYI.
Right.
You know, come surf.
Absolutely.
Come surf the East Coast.
Nice. With that, I present to you Jeanniey Walden, CIMO of DailyPay, and we'll be back to you in our next episode. Thank you.